Hello everyone, welcome to my sketching class. Today I'm going to show you how to sketch an sea animal, which is green sea turtle. We will focus on the portraits only. Maybe we're going to capture a portion of the flipper on the right, but we pretty much will stop right here before we reach the left flipper. I'm going to go ahead and use 2B pencil to draw a circle. The circle will be small. The width of the circle is about 1/3 of the width of our sketching page. And when you sketch, try to sketch gently. So the circle will be light, not too dark. And it will give you more time to fix the line of the circle. And try not to use eraser. Sketch carefully. We draw a horizontal line to divide the circle into 2 parts. We make sure that the horizontal line is straight and parallel to the top and the bottom edges of our sketching page. Then we divide the diameter inside the circle into 2 parts. Use your pencil and your thumb. Measure the half right of the diameter and compare it to the half left. Make sure 2 lengths are in the same size, and we draw a vertical line that passes the mark we just made. Try to make the vertical line straight. The straighter the better, and make sure the line is parallel to the left and the right edges of our sketching page. We divide all the radiuses inside the circle into 4 even parts. You can divide each radius into 2 parts first. Use your pencil and your thumb, measure 1/2, and then compare it with the other half. Like that. And when you feel like the mark is right on the spot, divide each half into 2 parts. We do the same thing to the rest of the radiuses. We draw a horizontal line that passes the top of the circle. Draw 2 horizontal lines that pass the second mark and the third mark on the top radius. And again, try to make the lines as straight as you can. To determine the eye location, we're going to add 2 vertical lines. That pass the second mark on the right radius and the right side of the circle. To draw the eye, we're going to start at the second mark on the left, on the top radius. We draw a curve. We make the curve to the top. And when it passes the middle of the gap between the first and the second vertical lines, it will be quickly slide to the bottom right. When you are about to reach the third horizontal line, make the line curve. It's kind of tricky. We need to make sure that the right side of the curve flatter than the left. From the same mark, we draw similar curve. And then we reverse the direction of the line. We make the lines curve to the top like that to show the wrinkle, or at least the border between the lower lid and the upper lid. From the middle of the fourth section of the top radius, we draw a curve, and you can see that the more they go to the left and the right, the closer they are to the eye. Based on the book, the upper lid will be thicker than the lower. From the second mark on the right radius, we draw a curve that is slightly curved to the bottom. It will be sliding to the right. You can see that the upper lid is almost touching the circular line. Okay, so when you're done with this step, add another curve like that. The curve will be closer to the previous curve as it goes to the top. I would like you to take about 20 or 30 seconds to look at your work. Put your work far away, at least one arm far away, to see if there's anything that you need to modify or adjust. When you're done, we're gonna duplicate half of a radius to the right side of the circle and draw a vertical line. We draw a horizontal line that passes the bottom of the circle. To determine the nostril, we're going to divide the gap between the third and the fourth vertical lines into two parts, and we make one oval on the fourth horizontal line. From the intersection between the last horizontal line and the third vertical line, we draw a curve that is slightly curved to the right. It goes toward the mark we made earlier. You can see that the oval for the nostril leans toward the left. We make a mark at the middle, but we draw the nostril toward the left. We don't make the nostril right at the middle of the gap between the third and the fourth vertical lines. So back to the line we are working on. We make the line go to the top. Look it past the mark we made it earlier. It will go to the top left, and you can see that it passes the circular line. It does not touch the upper lid. Continue. We make the line goes inside. We make the line go inside of the circle, and then at the intersection between that line and the circle, we add another curve. So two lines for the top of the head. It's kind of tricky right now because we don't know how far the gap between the left side of the face and the eye is. We're gonna work on that later. We get back to the lip. I would like you to draw a vertical line that passes the left side of the circle. We duplicate a radius to the left side of the circle and draw a vertical line. From the center of the circle, draw a curve that is slightly curved to the bottom. Make it loose. It's just the wrinkle or the crack on the shell. And then I would like to draw a little curve. It looks like a dot, but it's not. It's like a tiny curve. This curve right here is right under the second section on the left radius, but it is as high as the first mark on the bottom radius. Then, from the intersection between the last horizontal line and the fifth vertical line, we draw one angle for the tip of the mouth. We make the line curly. You can see that the line is curved to the bottom first and then curved to the top. Extend the line to the top left. You can see that it's close to the second mark on the bottom radius. And when you are about to reach the curve we made earlier, make the line round. So it would look like the total is smiling. You don't want to make your total look frowning. You can do that by making this line right here curve to the top or straight. To determine the lower jaw, we gonna make the shape for the lower jaw. Make the shape slide to the top left and make it past the intersection between the circle and the third vertical line. Extend the line to the top left and stop when you pass the second vertical line. On the right side of the third vertical line, we draw a curve that is slightly curved to the bottom. And this line right here is fully curved to the left. We make it past the middle of the gap between the first and the second vertical line. Hold your pencil further in the back. We need to modify the top of the head a little bit. Make sure that the line goes toward the top left, not the left side. My bad. And then once you pass the second vertical line, turn the line to the bottom left. It looks like the line is going toward the line of the lower jaw, not the throat. We duplicate a radius to the top of the circle. And draw a horizontal line. We make a mark on the top of the head, which is right above the third mark on the left radius. Draw a loose line. Like that. The line is curved to the top, lightly curved to the bottom when it gets close to the second vertical line, and then curved to the top again. It will go above the first horizontal line just a little bit. At the intersection between the head and the second vertical line, we draw a curve. Draw another line, and this line will be the lighter, the shell. The more you go to the left, the further it's going to be away from the previous line. So this is the border between the shell and the tissue, the skin. Under the last horizontal line, we draw a curve that is slightly curved to the bottom, and the line is going toward to the bottom left. Once you pass the first vertical line, make a curve like this. We just draw light slides like that, so we can imagine the muscle, the volume of the neck. If you have the book on page 100, you will see that the light is not continuous. It's like the shape is like an illusion of volume. with bunch of curved lines which are curved to the left. To determine the flipper, we duplicate a radius to the bottom. We draw a horizontal line. We duplicate twice. At the middle of the gap between the second and the third vertical lines, we draw a curve. Turn the lines to the bottom right, but look at this. Make sure that the flipper shape turns to the bottom left before it touches the fifth vertical line. Above the intersection between the seventh horizontal line, the second vertical line, draw a curve that is sliding to the bottom right and stop before you reach the third vertical line. At one curve like that, you can see that the line passes the intersection between the seventh horizontal line, the first vertical line. And then near the intersection between the seventh horizontal line, the second vertical line, draw a curve that is curved to the right, and then as you make the line go to the bottom left, make it loose. So it's really important that you have this curve right here. So this will show the volume of the upper flipper, and it helps us to separate the upper flipper from the lower. And then we draw a wavy line like this. For the border between the skin and the bottom shell, we draw a curve. That's it. We would not draw to the left too much, because if we draw too much to the left first, it will make the whole sketch kind of heavy on the left, and it will break the balance of the composition. So later on, we're going to add something right here to balance out the composition. But for now, I would like you to put your sketch far away, or at least one arm far away. Check the sketch and see how it looks. When you feel like you are done, you can go ahead and erase the guidelines. Erase carefully. We only erase the guidelines, not the outline of our total. When you're done erasing the guidelines, you will need a cotton ball. We're gonna squeeze it, and then we blend the whole sketch in circular pattern like that to soften the edge. For the next part, we're gonna use 6B or 8B pencil to shape. I'm using 8B. We're gonna work on the eye first. We're gonna modify the eye a little bit. The lights comes from the top left to the bottom right. Based on the book, we're gonna change a little bit. We make the lights comes from the top right to the bottom left. What we're gonna do is drawing an oval for the highlight. And then we use curve line to outline the eye shape. Relax your hand. Do not touch the highlight oval. We need to make sure that the eye is dark at the top, fade away toward the bottom. The edge will be dark and fade away toward the middle. It looks like the eye is blind because it doesn't have people yet. We use circular pattern like that to shade. And when you feel like you got the shape, the shading of the eye down, use curve line to draw half of a circle for the pupil. The pupil is small. It leans toward the right. I want to touch up the right corner in the very, very top of the eye. Relax your hand. From the border between the upper lid and the lower lid, we use curve line to shade. The lower lid will be dark at the bottom and fades away to the top. Let's get evil a little bit. It is because the pupil is too tiny. You can enlarge the pupil if you would like. When you're done with the shading, use Q-tip. We're gonna smudge gently from the bottom of the eye to the top. Because I know that the bottom of the eye will be brighter than the top. The upper lid will be darker than the bottom. So I'm going to use Q-tip, brush gently the lower lid. we have to use curve line to blend. We go back and touch up the top, the eye. Touch up the pupil. And then little wrinkles on the left and the right corners. At this time, you can see that I hold my pencil closer toward the tip. So I would like to capture little detail. We use curve line to shade the lip corner. And the more shade to the right, the less you're gonna shade. When you shade the nostril, shade from the top to the bottom. The more you go to the bottom, the less you're gonna shade. Before we move forward, I want to show you how to shade the shell texture. It's kind of simple. First, you need to hold your pencil far away in the back. If you hold it too close like that toward the tip, it won't work. Relax your hand, make the value dark at the top, near the outline. The more shade to the bottom, the less you're gonna shade. We shade lightly. We are not making the right value for the shells yet. This is light sketching a little bit, and you will understand when we work with eraser. The more shade to the lip, the less you're gonna shade. Okay. You can see that I do not touch the eye. I think it's enough for now. I want to use Q-tip. First, blend the nostril. Blend the lip. And when you blend the lip, blend toward the bottom. Blend from the right to the left. So we basically blend everything, but you can see that the value right now is kind of soft, not super dark. It's just dark enough. So we can use eraser to draw the highlight, the right value, on the face. And then we're gonna use eraser to break it to draw the white gap between those little shells, I mean scales. Make sure that each scale has at least 4 sides. Uh, There is no sharp angle on the gap. So I'll go back, smooth down the sharp angle. This step takes a lot of time because we have to be careful. Okay. So when you're done, you go back, touch up. The scale on the bottom left darker than the top right. You make this scales on the bottom left to dark, and the more you shade to the top right, the less shading we're gonna add. Relax your hand when you shade at the front of the head. But on the bottom, for the mouth right here, we cannot use circular pattern. If you have the book, you can see that the shadow has patterns. So we need to use curved lines to shade from the top to the bottom. And the lines will be curved to the right. I'm gonna go back and clarify the outline, the value on the outline of the right side a little bit. So what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna blend. We're gonna blend from the top right first. We go toward the left. We use curved lines to blend. When you're done, to create the volume for the whole face, we use circular pattern. To make the left side darker than the right a little bit. So this will make the white lines not just white, but gradients, which means dark at one side, brighter at the other side. Now we can feel like the lights comes from the top right to the bottom left. You can use eraser, remove the shading that goes outside the face like that. This will help us sharpen the outline. Spend a little bit of time, go back and touch up. Okay, now I would like you to spend 20 seconds, check your work, put your sketch far away, list one arm far away, and see how it look. So we move on to the next part. We use circular pattern to shade from the right side to the left. If you have the book, you will see that this texture down here look like oval. Well, you can make it exactly like the reference, but we don't have that much time. You can use oval. Sit all like that. Just shade. Shade the outline of the oval. And make sure that you go back. Shade the gap or the border between two oval. One more time. We draw the oval, make the oval random, loose, and make sure there's no gap between two of them. When you shade the wrinkles at the bottom of the neck, change the pattern. We use curved lines, which are curved to the bottom to shade, but it's not the darkest area. The darkest area will be the right shoulder. Use curved line to shade and make all the lines close each other. We are creating texture, so not really value. We'll go back and work more on the value later. So that's why it's really helpful that when you sketch, you have the reference with you, so you can observe, study the reference. If you have the book, you can see that the wrinkles kind of close to each other. And at this part right here, they're going to be changed. If you have grandma or grandpa, look at their wrinkles, and you will see that that's the direction of the muscle, which we cannot see obviously on young people. Okay. Make sure there's gap. I mean the transition between the ovals and the wrinkles. You don't want to shade the oval too hard because it will get hard to create the transition between the oval and the wrinkle. On the top right corner, between the neck and the shell, make it the value dark to increase the depth between the shell and the neck. At the bottom right here, it's kind of unclear because we don't really have dark value yet. I want to use circular pattern to make the value super dark and then fade away to the right. And then change the pattern. As you shade to the right, create the wrinkles. Look at this. The upper section will not be as dark as the lowest section, so at the bottom. From the border between the upper flipper and the lower flipper, I'm going to use circular pattern to shade. By adding this dark value, we notify the viewer that the lower flipper is behind the upper one. Keep all the lines close to each other. We will add the texture later. can see that I make top, the top right of the flipper brighter than the bottom left. Continue shading to the left. We use circular pattern straight from the top of the shell to the bottom. Okay. We have two options. You can use cotton ball to blend, or you can use Q-tip to blend. Because the top of the shell is kind of sketchy, I'm gonna work on that first. We use circular pattern to shade from the outline to the bottom. Keep all the lines close to each other so you can make sure that you cover up all the white spots. But when you blend the wrinkle, you have to follow the pattern of the wrinkle. We work on the brighter value to the darker value. If the value is created by curved lines, we have to use curved lines to blend. If the value is created by circular lines, we have to use circular lines to blend. Then we're gonna brush the lower jaw just a little bit. We're not trying to make the front of the lower jaw dark. We still keep some bright spot. I know the shape is kind of blurry right now. We're gonna go back and clarify the shape later, just in a bit. Use Q-tip and apply soft value like that, but do try not to touch the outline of um, the shell. Uh, Use cotton ball, squeeze it, create a transition between the total and the background. When you're done. Oh, sorry. When you use eraser to draw the border between the scales. There's no sharp angle. That- You can see that I draw angles. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as the reference, but you want to make viewer have a feeling of the presence of the scales. And in order to make the scales more cohesive, connecting to the whole sketch, we use pencil, go back and touch up the shading. You can see that by making the value dark a little bit, we make the border between those scales brighter. So you can see that it's just how we make the contrast on the sketch. If we make the dark value really dark, bright value really bright, the contrast will be high and the shape will be easy to read. Difference from other scales, these scales right here, the ones I'm shading, will be dark at the top and brighter to the bottom because of the lighting situation. This part did not hit the light, only the top. I know it's a lot of things to analyze. And when you sketch, you would have to do so all the time. We have to analyze the lighting situation, where the light comes in, where the lights come out, how dark it is compared to the other one, how bright it is compared to the next value. If we cannot analyze that, it's kind of hard to make the sketch look realistic. When I'm done, I'm gonna use Q-tip to create shadow from the right to the left like that. Make it blurry, so it look like it will not take a lot of attention from audience. Because if it take a lot of attention from audience, they will forget to look at the face. Then we use eraser to draw the highlights between the shell and the tissue. We use eraser to draw the pattern. On the shell too. Make it sketchy like that. But we do need to touch up a little bit to sharpen the edge of the shell. That's it. You can take more time, well, when you're done. You can sign your work at the bottom right. I want to stamp the work at the bottom right. So that's all the lesson for today, and I hope you found this lesson helpful and enjoyable. Keep sketching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.